Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Iran. So the US have asked US military personnel to leave the Qatar airbase. So is there an attack coming? And we're going to discuss that. So first of all, there seems to be lots of military airplanes going in and out of Britain. They're flying there's some unusual activity, let's just say, happening. And this happened before the first Iran attack last year. However, I don't think they will attack Iran this time for many reasons. The number one reason is they can't afford it. America is in mountains of debt, and there is no way Trump is gonna suddenly have start a war with Iran, and it's not gonna be an easy war with Iran, guys. Iran has been acquiring lots of advanced military weapons, rockets, missiles, even planes, you name it. So it's not going to be an easy war. It's not going to be like Iraq, for example. Iraq, when they invaded Iraq, Iraq had nothing. They were under heavy sanctions. They had no missiles, hardly any weapons. So it's going to be a long, forever war. Iran is a population of 80 to 90 million. It's got a huge landmass, mass, MASS, and is 3 or 4 times larger than Iraq. So, and it's very, very heavily, full of mountains, deserts. So it's not going to be easy. And Tehran is not an easy place to get to. So it's not going to be an easy job for Donald Trump. And I don't think he would be stupid enough to go into Iran, despite all of his Israeli friends and Zionist backers, telling him to do it. I don't think he will do it. I think all of this stuff is just posturing. However, he will push for regime change. He will push for other ways to get rid of the regime. I think Syria has proved that you don't have to go to war with a country. You don't have to invade a country for you to have a regime change. And I think Syria was a good test for them. And they're trying the same thing on Iran. They're placing heavy sanctions on Iran. Um, they are pushing for regime change, color revolutions. They're pushing for riots in the streets. So they're doing everything they can to change the regime. And unfortunately for them, it's not working. So Elon Musk is basically getting in on the act. He has been providing Starlink satellite access to rioters in Iran. And the rioters in Iran, I don't think most of them are Iranian or Muslim because they have been burning down mosques. They have been killing police officers, you name it. This is similar to what happened in Hong Kong, where you have outside influence and people who are not actual Hong Kongers doing the real violence to really, you know, start these riots, start killings and destroying, buildings, mosques and things like that. Because if you're a Muslim, if you're Iranian, there is no way you would be burning down mosques because it doesn't make any sense. So I think a lot of them are Mossad agents, undercover Mossad agents who have learnt, Farsi, and they've been living in Iran for many years, integrating with society. And when Israel gives them the go ahead, when America gives them the go ahead, they all start doing their riots. So because they're integrated in society, they have a lot of probably in some influential positions and made a lot of friends in the social media and things like that. So they are the ones organizing this. However, it's failed because it hasn't worked in the desired outcome. And Elon Musk has been providing obviously Starlink satellite access, and Iran has found a way to block the Starlink access. I believe that they are having help from Russia and China because Starlink has been provided to every single country that's been pushing regime change. Elon Musk has been working as part of the deep state. When Elon Musk says that he's making SpaceX so he can build ships to go to Mars and things like that, that's all a lie, guys. It's all a lie. It's just an excuse for people to think, oh, Elon Musk is a savior. He wants to save the human race. He doesn't want to save the human race. All he cares about is money. And now he's working for the CIA. Now he's working for the deep state in pushing regime changes all over the world. He used Starlink for regime change in recently in Bangladesh, in Syria. He tried in other countries as well, in countries in Africa as well. He's been using Starlink as a ways to regime change because countries can shut down internet when there's a big riot and things like that, but they cannot shut down Starlink, and that's a major problem. So Elon Musk is a big problem, guys. Elon Musk, and I think is a major problem for China and for Russia as well. So if China one day wants to reunify with Taiwan and they want to shut down the internet in Taiwan, because having the internet allows them to obviously use weapons and target Chinese and coordinate attacks and things like that. So if China shuts down the internet in Taiwan, I'll guarantee you that Starlink will be used. Russia and China have been working on ways to jam Starlink, and I think it's something they have been both been working together, and I think they have both been sharing intelligence because they know that Starlink is a big threat, not only to Russia and the Ukraine war, but also to China. So I believe that they are using technology, that they are sharing intelligence with each other, and they have come up with a solution. And this has been tested in Iran, and it has worked. They have shut down 80 to 90% of the Starlink signal in Iran, and this has caused huge issues in the rioters' organization capabilities. So the West is completely shocked, and obviously Elon Musk is shocked as well that this technology exists. And I'm sure that China, Russia, and Iran will share this technology with other countries having similar regime change operations. So, like I said, the West is absolutely shocked that Iran has this capability. And Elon Musk must be absolutely shocked as well. I mean, this guy, why doesn't he just keep out of other countries' affairs and keep out of politics and just focus on, business and making money? Why does he have to get involved in other countries' regime change and things like that? Even X, let me show you guys. You can see Elon Musk's X is changing the Iranian flag to, the protesters or the pro Shah regime or pro-Pahlavi regime. So they're changing the Iranian flag. So he's up to no good, this Elon Musk, and I think China should ban this guy because he's just using China to make money, and also in the future he could stab China in the back with Starlink and X and other things as well. But this guy is fully controlled by the deep state, fully controlled. And I'm sure if there was any conflict in the Taiwan Strait, Elon Musk, you know whose side he's going to be on. So yeah, I think people need to just boycott his stuff, boycott Tesla, boycott Starlink, boycott X. This guy doesn't deserve our money. This guy's just up to no good around the world. When Gaza needed Starlink, um, when Israel shut down, the internet in Gaza when they were bombing Gaza, you know, reporters couldn't report what was happening. Doctors and nurses couldn't, communicate with the outside world. A lot of people in X were asking Elon to open up Starlink in Gaza, but he refused. So he will do whatever he will do whatever he can for Israelis and for Jews, basically. Everybody else is just, fair game. He'll push regime change anywhere around the world. And his masters, you know who his masters are. You know who he's really working for. So what can Iran do, guys? These people are not going to stop. These people are hell bent on attacking Iran, stealing their resources. They don't care about the Iranian people. They've been bombing Muslim countries for years. You think suddenly they care about Muslim rioters in Iran? No way. Absolutely no way. So what can Iran do? Number one thing they need to do is build a nuclear bomb, guys. Stop messing around. If you want to really defend yourself from an invasion or an attack, you need a nuclear bomb. Because if Israel has a nuclear bomb, I will guarantee you that they will use it. And in the 12-day war last year, Trump basically obviously bombed the nuclear facilities in Iran. But there's lots of reports saying that the only reason he did it was if he didn't do it, Israel was ready to use nuclear weapons on Iran, and this was a way to stop the war. And I think Trump basically did that to stop Israel from using its nukes. Israel would definitely use their nukes this time if a war starts in Iran. If Iran starts destroying lots of Israeli kind of buildings and infrastructure, people start dying in Israel, I am sure Israel will use nuke against Iran. They have no issues about killing innocent people. Look what they've done to Gaza. They will do it. This is why Iran has to build its own nuclear weapons to defend itself from Israeli nuclear weapons. And if they don't do it, then that's just, very low IQ, guys, because you are just asking for it to be destroyed. And in this day and age, I don't care what people say, you need a nuclear weapon to defend yourself. And I know the Grand Ayatollah has said that he's made a fatwa to ban nuclear weapons and stuff. That's just ridiculous, guys. That's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, you might as well be kind of having a war with sticks and stones. Imagine, the rest of the world getting nukes and advanced military and advanced weapons, and if you, as a country, saying, "Oh, we can't really build nuclear weapons because we have a fatwa and stuff. It's not allowed." That's just you're just holding yourself back. You're just asking to be destroyed because the world is basically, you know, it's all about might is right in the world. You see what America is doing. They know they have the most strongest military, and this is why they're threatening to take Greenland. This is why they're threatening to take Venezuela because there's nobody else that can stop them, apart from China and Russia. But there's nobody else. They got the military. They think they can do whatever they want. So, as a country, you have to have nuclear weapons to defend yourself. And you see North Korea, this I remember 20 years ago, they were bullying North Korea on a daily basis. Then suddenly North Korea started getting nukes and all that bullying stopped. No more bullying for North Korea. Let's move on to the next target. And all the countries that didn't have nukes, look at them now. They've all been, regime changed or destroyed. Look at Iraq, look at Syria, look at Libya. If these countries had nukes, no way America would have gone in and destroyed them. So, you need nukes, guys. And if they don't get it, then that's extremely, extremely low IQ. And you're basically asking for it. Basically, you're just asking to get nuked and not be able to do anything in return. However, there are newspaper articles saying that Iranians have bought Russian Iskander missiles. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it's true, Iskander missiles can have nuclear warheads. You know, if you know about nuclear weapons, there's lots of steps with nuclear weapons. First of all, you need to be able to enrich uranium to above, 95%, 98%, very, very high. You need to be able to enrich uranium to that standard. Secondly, you need a delivery system like the Iskander missiles. If you don't have a delivery system, then all that enriched uranium is pretty much useless. And so Iskander provides them that delivery system that, you know, a nuclear weapon needs, which Iran doesn't have. So if this story is true, this means that Iran probably has nukes already, or can build nukes in a very short amount of time and deliver them as well. This story hasn't been confirmed by Russia yet, so I'm not sure if Russia actually will sell these missiles to Iran or not. I'm not 100% sure. If this is true, then this is good news for the Iranian people. You don't have to worry about being nuked and not being able to do anything in return. Countries that have actually built nukes, they are the ones that are truly sovereign in this world. If China never built nukes, can you imagine what China would have been like? The fact that Russia is sovereign, nobody's watching Russia. Not Russia has 6,000 nukes. The fact that India and Pakistan could have gone to war and destroyed each other if they didn't have nukes. The fact that they have nukes, that they have, I wouldn't call them war. They have small skirmishes on the border and things like that. They have a few battles here and there, but it's not actual war. You know, Countries that have nukes are pretty much protected. And this is why you need to have nukes to protect yourself. And if you have nukes, you have escalation dominance as well. I mean, look at Russia. They have in obviously a war with Ukraine. Everyone knows Russia has nukes, but there is no way they will use them against Ukraine because they don't need to. But they have escalation dominance. If the West or NATO starts using nukes against Russia, Russia can do the same. The same thing with Iran. They need to have escalation dominance. In the 12-day war with Israel, they had, even though they destroyed Israel in those 12 days with ballistic missiles and things like that, Israel still had the dominance, escalation dominance. They could have easily have nukes. Imagine if Israel starts firing a dozen nukes in towards Iran. They would have wiped out Iran completely. And what would Iran do in return? Fire a few ballistic missiles. I mean the damage itself is not going to be comparable to nuclear missiles. Nuclear missiles, after they hit, you know, they completely can destroy a city, and also you have all the radioactive fallout afterwards as well. So you cannot compare a missile with a nuke, basically. Anyway, that's all for now. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think a war with Iran is going to start, or do you think this is all showboating from Trump, and he cannot afford a war with Iran? I don't think there will be a war with Iran, but let me know what you guys think. Okay, for now. Bye bye. Don't forget to like and share and watch the video to the end as well. It really helps. Thanks. Bye.